There is a place called St. Peter's Land, hidden between Rome and Tuscany, a place where you can find amazing landscape, beautiful natural hot springs, amazing castles, lakes, and marvelous gardens called Giardini all'Italiana.
In the last 3,000 years, many people loved and fought for this land. The Romans, the Etruscans, the Longobards, and other people tried to establish here their home.
But the popes have been the real rulers forever. Legendary wines and the best extra virgin olive oil in the world comes from here.
See you
In April 2022,
when the Hasienborghi will dress up by tons of flower for Tuscia in Fiore.
Certainly, spring is the perfect time to go to Italy. But tonight, thanks to my two guests, we are going to try to at least put out there the notion that Tuscia in particular is very well designed to be a place where people can retire or people can have the second home and so forth. I am super lucky to have one of my friends as a guest. His name is Roy. He's an American, and he moved to Tuscia, and we are going to talk a little bit about the gentleman and how he's feeling. Hey, Roy, good evening. How are you, my friend?
Good evening, Giulio. I'm great.
I understand it's a little hot, so thank you for doing this.
It's been very hot. However, in my little man cave, I'm fine because, Italian houses are built out of stone and cement. So in the house, it's actually not so bad, even with no air conditioning.
Oh, this is a great piece of information. It's Italian houses or building in general are not really 2x4 and drywall, right?
Oh.
They're typically concrete, cement.
And at night, the temperature drops quickly. So today it was 97 degrees, and tonight it'll be 72. So I just open the windows and doors and cool the house down and close them in the morning, and it stays. It never gets above 80 in my room, so it's fine.
Oh, that's great. Okay, Roy, so it's even written under your name. 15 years ago, you moved to Tuscia. Looking backwards, what can you say? How was your choice? Good one?
Well, of course, it was a good one. And in my case, the main reason that we stayed here is that the cost of living here is much lower than my other options, which were New York City and the Bahamas. I used to have, considerable amount of money, but I lost it all. So we ended up staying here. But I live on my Social Security pension here in Italy, and we live just fine on it. In New York City, it wouldn't even pay the rent. So. But I love, I said of the three choices, I'm much happier here. It's a very
So let's detangle a little bit. So you had a full life in America, and eventually you were given a choice. And of course, being comfortable is a nice thing. And you figure with your pension, you could live comfortably in Italy. So far, so good?
Yeah.
Okay,
absolutely.
So that was a choice, maybe a little forced one, but as far as the quality of your life in the village that we are promoting tonight,
well, the quality, first of all, the quality of my health has dramatically improved since I moved here. When I moved here, I used to go out to restaurants and bars and have a good time in New York City and Chicago, and but I was not that healthy. So now I'm 78 years old. I'll be 79 next month, and it's much healthier living here. It's whether it's olive oil or all the fresh produce and vegetables that I eat, and there's not on the other side, I don't go out to a lot of bars and restaurants anymore. So I'm much healthier now, and the healthcare system here is fantastic. So.
That was going to be my next question. So suppose something happened, you need to go to the ER. So where do you go? How far it is from you?
Well, there's three hospitals that we use. The one in Viterbo, which is an extremely large, chaotic hospital. Then in at Tarquinia and Montefiascone, there's two other hospitals which are smaller. But much to I have a background in healthcare in the United States. I worked at many of the greatest hospitals in the United States, in Chicago and New York. So I was quite surprised how good the healthcare system is here. I mean, really surprised, and it doesn't really cost anything. You know, I'm a resident here. I mean, my wife is Italian, so I'm a resident, and but I've been really surprised at the quality of the healthcare here. You know, I didn't expect it, so it's good. It's great.
That's fantastic. Roy, in a second, I'm going to ask about your son. But before we go there, how far would you say is Fiumicino, the international airport?
It takes me from leaving my house an hour and 15 minutes.
Okay, just to clarify for those people that likely don't know where Tuscia is. Tuscia is this little region hidden between Tuscany and Rome. So it's north of Rome and south of Tuscany. And obviously it's very close to the airport. There are many hospitals. And on top of you having a better quality of life, how would you describe the nature, the area around you? Is it bad, post-industrial, or is it everything green? What do you say?
No, it's beautiful. First of all, in my opinion, all of Italy is beautiful, but our area, it's green, it's lush, it's this time of year with the summer, there's not much rain, so things are not green, but many farms, large farms. We have the mountains on one side of us. We have the sea on the other side. I'm a golfer. I have 3 golf courses that I can go to, and so it's lifestyle wise, it's just great. And I like living in the village. I lived in New York City and Chicago for many years, but I'm not into that urban thing anymore. But if I wanted, I could I could just hop on the train or a bus, and I'm in Rome in an hour and a half.
So let me ask you, do you miss ever New York, or with your age, you're not young chick anymore? Is it better to live in a small village? What do you think?
Well, that's a mixed question, because wherever I am, I'm happy. Okay. But I like the village lifestyle. I don't need the fast-paced lifestyle anymore. I had that for many years. But if I was in New York, I'd still be me. I'd still be happy. But I prefer living here. If I won the lottery tomorrow, I would stay here.
Oh, that's fantastic. If
Yeah,
I
no,
win the lottery, I would stay here.
No, I would not leave. I might build myself a swimming pool in our olive field, but I wouldn't leave. I wouldn't go back to New York or Chicago, or I'd stay here.
Okay, Roy, I have to ask you about your son, but let me say hi to Mario. Mario just put for us a like. He has been looking for a place. Maybe he's going to end up in Calabria because he's from that area. But going back to Tuscia, it doesn't feel like you were crazy, because after your son came to visit you, eventually he decided that was the right thing to do, right?
Yeah, everybody, I've always said that if you want to see the real Italy, come to our village. This is the real Italy. Rome is not the real Italy, just like New York City is not the real America.
Correct.
It's New York City, and Rome is Rome, and Florence, but our village is the real Italy. And everyone that's come to visit, friends and relatives over the years, they all say that the best time they had was being in the village.
So, Roy, let me ask you a technical question. Do you feel that your son had a hard time to buy in Italy?
No, he he didn't have a hard time at all. I've read stories and seen people where they have a hard time, but I don't think it's difficult to. He didn't have a hard time. He was here for 2 weeks and he bought a house.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay, so we are lucky. We have a pro with us. His name is Walt Bianchi. Italians probably call him Walter, and he works in this area. So we can ask him a few questions. Walt, good evening. How are you?
Ciao, I'm very well, thank you. Nice to see you guys.
It looks like you are suffering a lot. Behind you looks like you are in a fantastic spot. There is a swimming pool. You must be suffering.
I'm having a very difficult time in the south of Italy. I'm in the part of Apulia, which is the heel of the boot, and I'm at the very southern tip of it. I would compare it to maybe Miami Beach, something like that. Very, very nice. As you can see, my pool in the backyard. It's life is good. Life is good.
So Walt,
I would like to. Go ahead.
who are you? Well, how the heck are you in Puglia and then in Italy and wherever? Who are you?
I am an Italian-American dual citizen. I grew up here. I went my college in the United States, and I started working in America, worked in Europe again, went back to America. I've been in the real estate business in Florida for the last 25 years, 20 of them as a mortgage broker. So I'm licensed to do real estate in Florida and Italy, and mortgages in Florida and Italy. Now,
this is fantastic.
Before I talk specifically about that, I wanted to confirm something Roy said. I recently moved back last December, and my Social Security check covers all of my living expenses, including my cleaning lady, my gardener, literally everything. If I wanted to just sit here and do nothing, I'm set. Obviously, I do a little here, do a little there because I'm still active in mortgages, and I'd love to help some of our viewers if they want to buy. And I'll be happy to answer your questions about any mortgage-related issues, of course.
So, Walt, I finished asking questions to Roy, and the last question was, is it difficult to buy in Italy for an American? What is your answer to the same question?
No, it's not. There's a couple of your expenses on your closing costs, like the property tax is a little higher as a second home, as a foreigner. But no, the process is much the same as it is in the United States, although it may take a little longer to buy. That's if we're talking cash. You're showing up here with, say, 200,000 euros in cash, and that's it. There are a few hoops to jump through. There's something called the notaio, a notary, which in Italy is a much more important figure than it is in the United States.
Let me ask you more technically about that in a second. So I'm going to show both of you, of course, Roy already saw this video, because I want to give a feeling to whomever could be watching this video, what he would buy into, and then you will walk us through the difficulties, okay? So this is a video that actually a friend of mine shot for me not too long ago. Okay, so Walt, this is the question for you. Do you see yourself falling in love while in Italy?
I'm already in Italy. I fell in love with Italy decades ago.
Okay,
Look,
so
I lived half my life in the United States and half my life here. Okay, there's a lot of good things in America, no doubt. But when you come to a point in your life where you want to slow down a bit and you want to stop and smell the roses and live beautifully, you don't beat Italy. You just don't. I mean, France is nice. Thailand is nice. There's many nice places in the world, but Italy is Italy, and not the number one place in the world.
Roy, do you agree with Walt?
Well, I do in the sense that I love Italy. However, as I said before, I love a lot of places, but I love Italy. You know, I've been living in this village longer than any place I've ever lived, and it's my home. You know, and as I said, I wouldn't move if I had the money to move. I would not move.
So, Walt, I want to confirm with you something that Roy told us. He feels that his quality of the life, in particular his health, improved while in Italy because of the produce, because the way Italian people eat, and so forth. Do you confirm?
Absolutely. Look, Italian food is healthier. The portions are smaller. The ingredients are better, and you walk everywhere. So, I mean, I look at my health app. I will often do 10,000 steps without thinking about it. I'm also very much healthier than I was in the United States, for sure. And I'm less stressed because I don't work as hard. I'm able to enjoy time with friends. Social life here is much more important, I think, than in America. In America, you have social relationships for the purpose of doing business. Here, to ask somebody what he does for a living is considered gauche. Maybe after you know them for a while, you might inquire, but if you inquire right off the bat, that's considered rude.
Yeah, the first question I ask in America, what do you do? And it's normal here. In Italy, it would never come out of my mouth. I completely agree. Okay, so let's do one step at a time. Roy was lucky because his wife had a place in Villa San Giovanni in Tuscia. But let's say that after tonight, somebody hears what I'm about to say, that if you want to buy a small apartment, let's say maybe 1,000 square feet, so not a big one, but for Italian standard,
Meters.
it's 100 square meters. That
Yes.
roughly is 1,000 square feet, right? So you can get by very likely, in particular in Villa San Giovanni in Tuscia, somewhere between 40,000 and 70,000 euro, which roughly speaking is like 45,000 and $75,000. So I guess we can say, just for the sake of argument, if I had $60,000 and I am curious about you two guys and I want to come to Villa San Giovanni Tuscia and look for a place, very likely I'm going to find something interesting. So, Walt, what's the next step?
Well, first you should take a trip over here to look around because many listings, many for sale properties are not on an MLS. There is no multiple listing system here. Each agency has its own stuff. Now, there are some companies that are getting together into something called Replat, which is a real estate platform, but you're not going to see all of the stuff. A great website is gateaway.com. That's gate-away.com. If it comes up in Italian, just hit the little flag at the upper right. It'll give you the option of English. And there you can see properties that are listed by participating companies. Doing your homework is fundamental before you do anything here. And you should also probably have a trip over here to meet people, talk to people. If you're networked in, if you know somebody here who can introduce you as a personal friend, that's always so much better.
So I want to clarify something that you said. No, so our friend, common friend, his name is Raffaele. He is a real estate agent, and he's the one that introduced you to me. And he's a lovely guy. He lives in France, but often he's in Bracciano, where you have a residence.
I run into him all the time. Yeah.
Yes. And this is his number, and he works for a big company that, from what I understand, it's also your company. It's called Freem. It's
Yes.
a real estate company, and this is the telephone number of Raffaele. So Raffaele is, I would say, the first person to call and to say, "Hey, can you take me to Villa San Giovanni?" Would you agree?
Yes, like in the United States, a realtor is going to want to make sure that you are able to close. So proof of funds and/or pre-approval. One thing to mention about mortgages here, by the way, the maximum age is 75. So if you're 67, the maximum loan term you can get is 75 minus 67. So you'd only be able to get an 8-year amortization. Something to keep in mind if you are approaching an age like that. Otherwise, they have 30-year mortgages, but the mortgage has to be gone by the time you're 75. So that's a little tricky thing there. So
And plus, they don't really like the 35 years loan. No? They like 10, 15, right?
Yes, but I tell people, listen, get the 30-year loan. That minimizes the payment you have to make. You can always make extra payments if you have a good month or a good quarter, or you get a nice bonus at the end of the year. You can always make an extra payment, but keep your mandatory payments as low as possible.
Correct, correct. And this is where you come in. No, you are the loan expert. So let me read for you guys something from Mario, the one I mentioned before. I love this discussion. I agree with everybody here. I bought my apartment in Tropea, Calabria, and it was an easy process because I pay cash. At this point, it's a vacation home. So would you recommend to come with cash?
It's always easier. As a mortgage broker, I think it's terrible, but it's always easier with cash. Bear in mind that I know a lot of people who have purchased a home here, and they use it maybe 2 or 3 weeks in the summer for their family get-togethers, and the rest of the year they rent it away. We have a property management firm that we work with that can help you with the transition between one group of tenants to the next. You got to clean the sheets, clean up, clean the place and everything.
Sure.
Manage the receipts, disbursements. They're available should something break, should you need a repair. So it can actually be a profitable thing to do.
So I'm sorry, I have to propose something. How about 50-50, meaning 50% cash? So it's very easy to get a loan. Your loan is ridiculously small. You can do whatever you want with the little place, and life is good. Apparently, according to Roy, even to you, with your social security number, you can get by no problem.
You can. And here's the good thing about my particular bank. We are able to qualify American buyers with their US dollar earnings. Other banks in Italy will require you, if you're a foreigner, to have euro-based earnings. And of course, most Americans don't have that. Most Americans that are interested in this will have US dollar earnings, and we can use that to qualify you. The maximum loan to value is around 60/65, depending on the management's evaluation of your file. So yes, and bear in mind, in Italy, your mortgage payment is principal and interest only. You do not include an escrow for insurance and taxes. Taxes
So
are very, very small.
that's a great piece of information. So let me stress for a second. You said very fast, 65%. So they are not going to finance you 100%. Sometimes in America it did happen, but so let's say it's going to be a big portion, maybe 50%, maybe 60%. But let me stress again, a 100 square meters apartment, which is roughly 1,000 square feet, is a big apartment. I wouldn't even recommend that much, right? Do you agree?
It's true. Homes are generally smaller in Italy, in Europe in general, and in Italy certainly. And what I found, I moved here. I had a 2,100 square foot 4-bedroom home in Boca Raton, Florida. Here I have an 85 square meter home, 2 bedrooms, and it's all I need. Life is simplified if you don't have too much stuff.
I agree. And also with age. Roy, do you agree? We don't really need anything bigger than 1,000
I do.
square
Well, our house is relatively speaking small, but it's just fine. And it's just fine. The other thing I wanted to talk about in terms of housing here is that there's virtually no real estate taxes. And so this dramatically reduces your cost of living. We own this house. We don't have any monthly taxes. There's no real estate taxes. It's not,
maybe
only if you have a second home do you have to pay taxes. But even then, they're not very high. But
so there is something called IMU that is the same thing as real estate taxes. In California, where I am, is the 1.25% of the buying price or the reassessment.
Yeah.
In Italy, the first house is like nothing, $200 a year, $300 a year, right? It's ridiculously low.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. So it's good.
And Roy, you're not paying any homeowners insurance, are you?
No. No, another big difference here is, when I was involved with in my computer business with the police departments and fire departments. And, I'm like, where's our fire department? The closest fire department has been terrible. It's 20 minutes away. Why? Because there's no fires there. The houses are all made out of stone and, cement.
Yeah, it's very rare. A fire is very rare. Very rare.
So,
And also, this is a good moment to go back to the quality of life. If anything at all would happen in a village, Roy and Walt, would you say that everybody will help out immediately?
Oh yeah.
Of course. And in our case, my wife has relatives here. This is her mother's ancestral village, but whenever we have problems, we always have help. People are so.
Yeah. This connects perfectly with what Walt said before. No, the social life is the real center, the very center of our life in Italy, versus in America, business related subjects are the center of what you do. That's a massive difference. By the way, Mario is telling me something. Because he heard you say in Florida. I live in Parkland, Florida, which is
Yeah.
next door to Boca Raton.
I know Parkland. Unfortunately, that's the site of that school shooting some years ago. But
Oh, that's
yeah,
not
but
nice.
we won't talk about that.
No, but by the way, we are not going to talk about it. But do you guys know that I have a daughter that is 16? She really doesn't want to go to the university in the United States. She's afraid of shooting. For real.
Here's a little tidbit of Italian information. Dinners are much later in Italy. Typically, they'll start at 8:30 or 9. And they'll drag on for 2 or 3 hours as everybody enjoys everybody's company. And, you have multiple courses. You'll have multiple bottles of wine.
Do you
And
know why?
you deepen relationships with people, and you find you make very good friends.
Do you know why?
Does there have to be a why?
Well, my reading is that the most important thing for Italians is that social moment that either happens in aperitivo right before dinner during the week, or the Friday and Saturday night dinner that goes on till 1 o'clock in the morning. That's the center of the life.
I remember when I was in my younger days, I was married to an Italian lady, and on Sundays we would visit her parents. We would arrive around 11 o'clock in the morning, and there was a table there, but I couldn't see it because it was full of food. But I assumed there was a table there because nothing was dropping down, so there was obviously a table. We would sit down at 12 o'clock, and then we'd have lunch, Sunday lunch, and then on come the soccer games, and you watch 2 or 3. Lunch morphs into dinner, and next thing you know, it's 11 o'clock at night, and everybody goes. So that's a rainy Sunday. In the winter, obviously, most times are not like that, but those are nice. Those are nice days as well.
You guys are terrific. I couldn't ask for better testimony. So let me just say one thing. I'm doing this because I am firmly convinced that the quality of life in Tuscia is very, very, very high. Let me stress again, Frim is the company that Walt and my friend Raffaele work for. So this is his number, +39 is the Italian code. And you can take a screenshot and then call him. And of course, in case of need for a loan, of course, Walt will be there. Walt and Rafael are good friends. So, guys, it flew. It's already 30 minutes roughly. So, a last comment. Walt, would you like to say something I didn't let you say yet?
Well, I don't have my company logo or my phone numbers up here, but I'll be happy if anybody wants. I'm sure you guys can get that to people. I have an American number, a 561 area code, which is South Florida, Palm Beach County, and a 39 country code number, which is Italy. It's the same phone, so you can reach me almost at any time.
Walt, do you mind if I act like I'm from this century, from the last century? Walt has a Facebook page. His name is Walt Bianchi. You're gonna find him, and you can message him there for sure. You
Exactly.
can, no problem. This is the easiest way because it's Facebook, and that's Walt Bianchi. You, Roy, same thing for you. So, anything you want to say before we let go?
If you want to see the real Italy, come visit Villa San Giovanni in Tuscia. We have so much going on here. This past weekend, I don't know if you know, Julia, but we had a fundraising dinner for Tuscia and Fiori. Raised a ton of money. Had hundreds of people eating and dancing and listening to music. This weekend we have the Sagra. We have Tombola, which for Americans is bingo. We have fireworks. We got a lot of stuff going on here in our little village all the time. So
Walt, we are going to bring bruschetta and cannaiola and lenticchie di Onano at the La Sagra della Pezzata because we want everybody to know this specialty from the area Tuscia. This
Well, and
weekend,
that's something that deserves an explanation. A sagra, of which Italy is full, is a festival. Now, when I came here last October to scout out to see whether retirement here was a real option, it was during the sagra of the chestnut. And chestnuts were in everything. You had pasta, sauces with chestnuts, coffee with chestnuts, ice cream with chestnut, everywhere. And every week, it seems, some town somewhere has a sagra of something or other. And God love them. It's great.
starting
have-
from July all the way till November. That's right.
That's
Yes,
right.
Roy?
We have 2 sagras, so it's just great. It's so
Yeah.
much fun.
Maybe we should say another thing. These places that have Sagre Festival and whatever are literally few minutes from each other, right? Like 5K, 10 miles, 15 miles, something like that. Right? Everything is close by, right?
Yeah.
That
Indeed,
is,
but two towns that are 10 kilometers apart may have different recipes for a particular sauce, and they'll argue about it.
Our sagra is a tripe, tripe.
Tripe, yeah.
hey guys, this is a friend of mine that lives here in El Segundo, Grandi. It's truly a pleasure to listen to you guys. Well, it is fun to hear from Americans that are so much into living in Italy. So I'm very happy and grateful. Thank you, guys.
Okay.
Thank you for having us.
So let me stress again, on Facebook, you can look for Wall Bianchi, and it goes directly to our friend. So no problem with phone or whatever, but social media works very well. As well as my friend Raffaele. Raffaele is better with the phone because he's not very good with social media. Okay, you guys. So Tuscia, the land hidden between Rome and Tuscany, Villa San Giovanni in Tuscia, little village, maybe 1,200 people there.
Yeah.
Fantastic place. You can buy an apartment, let's say 100 square meters, that is roughly 1,000 square feet, for maybe 50,000, 60,000. You can retouch a little bit, and once everything is done, with $70,000, $75,000, you have a little piece of paradise. Would you guys agree?
I agree.
I would certainly agree.
Yeah.
And how to do it? Just call Walt or call Rafael. Okay, you guys, it has been a fantastic live show. Thank you so very much.
Okay.
Thank
See you
you.
next time.
Ciao.
Ciao, ciao.
Bye.
Regista, com'è andata oggi?
Bene, benissimo, come sempre. Ci vediamo alla prossima, Giulio.
Dalla Tuscia